It's a red-hot day for baseball here on the banks of the Ohio River, and we join you once again from the Great American Ballpark, where the Braves have a chance to win their second consecutive road series and win the overall season series as they face the homestanding Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, friends. Joe Simpson, Chip Carey. Welcome back to the ballpark. The Braves won a thriller last night in extra innings. Mauricio Cabrera picked up his first big league win, and today it's Lucas Harrell's turn to get back in the win column, Joe, and rebound after a disappointing post-All-Star game start.
Yeah, he didn't get out of the fourth inning against the Rockies in his first start back from the break. And by his own admission, he says, I've got to get outs quicker. I've got to get the ball down, especially in this ballpark against the Cincinnati Reds. And his three starts have been good, two real good ones, and then the short outing against the Rockies. So hopefully he can come back to form. He's pitched in this ballpark before. Anthony DeSclafani came back from an injury. He's only made 7 starts, but he's undefeated. He had a rough outing against the Braves in Atlanta, and you can see in 3 starts he's had his trouble with the Braves. Let's hope that continues today, and the Braves can put a bunch of runs on the board early.
Economy will be a big word on a hot day for baseball. A lot of Braves fans on hand hoping to see an Atlanta victory and a series win. We'll get to the lineups from the Great American Ballpark and first pitch right after this.
Baseball is sponsored by Georgia's best Chevy dealers.
Welcome to baseball in the Midwest during the daylight hours. It is hot, it is sticky, it is a very warm day here at the Great American Ballpark. And so, as we said, Joe, in our opening commentary, economy for both of these starters will be very important. We saw 2 pitchers last night have a lot of deep counts, a lot of 3-ball counts, a lot of long innings. If DeSclafani and Harrell want to stick around past 5 today, they can't do that too often this afternoon.
No, if they've thrown 50 pitches through the first 3.5 innings or so, they're going to be zapped, both in energy and probably with not very good results. So they need quick innings and try to get early outs.
Different look for the Braves uniforms today all around Major League Baseball. Major League teams are celebrating the weekend's events, the Hall of Fame inductions that are coming up. The Braves are wearing their throwback uniforms from the 1969 season. The Reds are wearing uniforms from the early 2000s. That honors Ken Griffey Jr., who was able to come back and play for his hometown team. Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza, of course, will be inducted in Cooperstown later this week. Here's how the Reds will line up defensively. One major change. Former Brave farmhand Jose Peraza gets the start in left field. Billy Hamilton and Jay Bruce join him in the Cincinnati outfield. Joey Votto is red hot at the plate out of the break and had a terrific game at first base last night. Brandon Phillips, Zach Cozart, Eugenio Suarez is the third baseman, and Tucker Barnhart is back in harness. He'll catch the pitches thrown by Anthony DeSclafani.
26 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Colts Neck, New Jersey. Originally drafted by Toronto out of the University of Florida back in 2011. Went to Florida in that big-time deal that the Marlins and Blue Jays pulled off a couple years ago, and then he came to the Reds for Matt Latos. You saw his recent work. In fact, over his last 33 2/3 innings, 3 walks and 33 strikeouts. Really good work for him over that stretch, but not a whole lot of luck against the Braves. Low to mid-90s fastball, slider, curve, and changeup.
And here's the lineup he'll face as presented by Braves skipper Brian Snitker. Jace Peterson is back in the leadoff spot. Chase Darno will play left. Freeman, Markakis, Garcia, the middle of the order. Inciarte, A.J. Przynski, 7th. Ibar, 8th. And, of course, Lucas Harrell is the Braves pitcher. Atlanta's 3-3 this year against the Reds. After this game, the Braves will jump on the charter and head to Denver and start a 4-game series with the Rockies tomorrow night. And we're underway with Angel Hernandez behind the plate, and strike 1 is called for Jace Peterson. Jace hitting .274 for the year and .310 since coming up from AAA in 33 games. He's done a nice job at the plate, in the field, and he's filled the leadoff spot very nicely.
And he hasn't played in this series until now, except a pinch hit, a couple of lefties that started.
And a roller right to first. Easy play for Votto with 2 steps to the bag. And DeSclafani gets a ground out to start his day. 1 up, 1 down for Chase Darno. Also the first action for Chase in this series. He provided the game-winning walk-off hit for Atlanta in the final game of that Rockies series. Darno with a homer, 11 RBIs.
Chase had that big game at the end of the Rockies series, coming through with a big hit.
And he hit that ball before it hit him. It's popped into the seats. And out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
Exactly right. That was headed for his belt.
That caught a corner. It's 2-2. Well, there's no mystery as to what the struggles for the Reds have entailed this year. Much of that is centered around their pitching staff. Like the Braves, they've used a ton of starters. They've used a ton of relief pitchers. Injuries have really plagued them from the opening bell of the season. You mentioned DeSclafani got hurt in his last spring training outing, an oblique problem. He's only now coming back, but he's pitched well with a 4-0 record. This one's hit towards Suarez at third. He's got it. And a high throw handled by Votto, 2 outs. So the Reds have to be a little encouraged with the way that Cody Reed pitched last night. DeSclafani's been good. They're going to get Homer Bailey back, I would assume, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're hoping.
And with this offense and that pitching staff, the Reds will have a much better idea, I'm sure, in the final 2 months of what they hope to have from the opening bell this year.
The bullpen's been better in recent days, too.
Foul ball by Freddie Freeman, who's 1 for 8 in the series and has 1 hit in his last 19 at bats.
They are really crowding him. The Rockies did a good job of that. He went hitless in that series, and the Reds have really stayed in on his hands too.
And you pointed out earlier in the series as well for Freddie, he's in one of those strikeout binges where he's just not able to make contact.
Yeah, he goes into those, once or twice a summer. It all seems to be, at least in my view, just timing related. Getting behind in the count a lot. We know how he likes to hit the first pitch, so lately he's been behind in the count from the get-go.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And Freddie fought that off. That's bounced into the camera well by the Reds dugout.
Boy, the players would really appreciate these clouds that are passing by to hang around.
Hit a mile high toward left, and Freddie Freeman just hit an opposite field home run with 2 outs. When he starts doing that, usually a great offensive stretch is sure to follow. A 1-0 Atlanta lead on Freddie Freeman's 17th home run.
It'll be interesting to see the location of this pitch. It looked like it was down and maybe out over the plate. They wanted it in, but it wasn't. They wanted to crowd him about belt high, down and out over the plate, and they paid the price. Good swing.
So the Braves strike first on a 382-foot homer to left by Freddie Freeman. And that'll bring up Nick Markakis. The Braves right fielder's had a good series himself. He's 5 for 9 at the plate.
He had an excellent at bat last night, leading off the 11th inning to set the tone for the go-ahead run.
DeSclafani's allowed 5 homers now, all of them to left-hand hitters. And Markakis tries to split the gap in left center. He will. Billy Hamilton can't cut it off as it's up against the fence. And Nick Markakis has a 2-out double. So he and Freeman go the other way and both have extra base hits.
Well, that's what Nick did last night against Cingrani, the left-hander. He wasn't trying to pull the ball, nor was he trying to pull the ball there on a pitch that looked like it was middle in. Day games this year, good numbers for Nick.
That's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. Let's see if Garcia can chase him home with 2 outs. Ordonez 4 for 9 with a homer in the set. He's hit 6 of them, and he's knocked in 27 men.
Hitting the ball the other way has really paid off for Ordonez lately too. He is wearing the Reds out.
1 ball, 1 strike.
.12 for 28, 2 homers against Cincinnati.
It's the highest batting average on the club. Coming into play today. Head to head with this Reds club, and he swung at that ball off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves have done a nice job forcing up the pitch count for DeSclafani.
Yeah. Even if there are a few clouds overhead, it's still really muggy on the field.
That's out of play foul. We'll do it again at 2-2. Atlanta so far 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position in the series. They've stranded 13 runners.
I like these uniforms. You were talking about them before the game. The Braves vintage 1969 uniform. Very simple, clean looking, no names on the back. Looks good.
Well, here's hoping the Braves play like the 69 Braves today. Markakis a good lead at second. The pitch is poked to right field, but that'll carry out to Jay Bruce. And the side is retired. 2-out thunder for Freddie Freeman. An opposite field home run to left. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the first inning for right-hander Lucas Harrell. American Ballpark, he's hit his first home run here in Cincinnati today, and that gives Lucas Harrell a first inning lead.
91 games, 65 starts in his big league career for Lucas Harrell. 19-34. So as a 31-year-old out of Springfield, Missouri, he's no kid, even though this is only his 4th start for the Braves. Give you his Ford keys after the first pitch,
which will go to the Red shortstop Zach Cozart.
His Ford keys to pitching success today. Number 1, quick innings. He's got to get through these innings fast. Try to save his defense a little bit from being out on the field for a long time. And number 2, the big three. There are three guys in this lineup, Votto, Bruce, and Phillips, that have worn him out. They have huge numbers against him. He's got to be careful with them.
Cozart fouls one at the plate and faces another 1-2 count. Cozart with 15 home runs. Number 15 came in this series. That matches a single season high. And that's been the highlight for him at the plate. He's 4 for his last 22. He'll be followed by Billy Hamilton, then Joey Votto, the Reds' first baseman.
As we discussed on Braves Live about Lucas Harrell, he commented that against Colorado, he was not getting ahead in the count and he was not getting the ball down. Two things he's got to do today to be successful.
And he just walked Cozart to start the game. Don't want to do that against this lineup in this ballpark. It's a lineup that's made even more dangerous with Billy Hamilton batting second. He didn't play against the Braves down at Turner Field, and he's had a big series with 4 steals and 3 runs. Votto hit a long home run against Matt Whistler the other night. Bruce, Suarez, Phillips, Jose Peraza in left, Barnhart back behind the plate. So here's Hamilton hitting .244 with 3 homers and 12 knocked in, 27 stolen bases for the Cincinnati center fielder. Pitching behind.
Yeah, and a quick trip from A.J. Przinsky. He said that he had a conversation with A.J. coming into this start about Cincinnati, and A.J.'s term was engage. You've got to engage these guys. They want to swing the bat. They don't walk a lot. They strike out a lot. They hit a lot of homers also, but you've got to engage them. You've got to make them want to swing the bat by making pitches that look like strikes.
That sounds a lot like the team that Lucas faced in his last start, the Rockies.
Right.
And in his 83 pitches thrown against Colorado, he threw just 44 strikes. Two balls and a strike. Two and one for Hamilton, and into the seats. I understand the fans in the suites on the left side might want to look alive with all the left-handed hitters in this series. Apparently Nick Markakis hit a foul ball that broke one of the windows of one of the club level seats here last night. Line to left, that is down for a hit. Darno got to it quickly, and it's a long single for Billy Hamilton, and immediate trouble for Lucas Harrell. 2 on, nobody out, and Joey Votto is the Cincinnati hitter, and he's our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Top batting averages since June 1st.
Second in the National League behind Rizzo at .346. And he's had a whale of a series. 4 for 5, a home run, 4 walks, including 3 last night.
So 2 on for Votto, nobody out.
He's reached base 8 straight plate appearances. That's the second longest streak of his career. He's done that 6 times. 9 is his longest, and that was done in September of 2013. So
So just piling on to his great on-base percentage.
And as you said, he has worn out Lucas Harrell in his career. Votto is 6 for 13 with a homer against the Braves starter today. He's got 2 on the pond with nobody out. Freeman's homer, the lone run to this point. Smacked foul left side. It's into the club level foul. 1-2 to count.
By the way, that was a nice play by Chase Darno. I know the Braves were playing Hamilton to the off field, but to get over that quickly and make sure that Cozart couldn't advance makes, also kept Hamilton at first, kept the double play in order. Well done.
Joey Votto's gotten off to a great start since the All-Star break. He's got 10 hits. Joe mentioned all the walks, the runs. He's 10 for his last 17 and has scored 5 runs. And he swung through that. Didn't get a high slider. So Harrell gets a big strikeout. The double play in order for Jay Bruce. 2 on, 1 out. And just when you catch your breath and say, all right, you've gotten Joey Votto, now you've got to worry about maybe the most productive right fielder in the National League, if not all of baseball.
High ranks in these categories offensively for right fielders in the major leagues, not just the National League. First in RBIs and extra base hits. He did hit into 2 double plays last night. Should have hit into a 3rd.
And they were the 3-6-3 variety.
Yeah.
Harrell would love another one here. 1 ball, no strikes. That caught a corner, even count.
As we saw last night, Chip, he's not just a dead pull hitter either. In the first inning, Terrell Jenkins was pitching him pretty tough, and then all of a sudden made a pitch that Terrell said later, I thought it was a pretty good pitch, down and away, and he hit it into the Reds bullpen in deep left center.
That was his 19th homer. The pitch. There you go. Braves dugout wanted a strike call there, didn't get it. 2-2. Well, the big question for the Reds and their fans is, in 11-12 days, will Jay Bruce still be a Cincinnati Red? Trading deadline is August 1st. His name's been bandied about quite a bit. As Harrell has another 3-ball count. Terrell Jenkins, you mentioned last night, pitched a super ball game, but he really had to work hard. He had 10 3-ball counts in the game. He was in line to win it, but a blown save in the 9th forced extra innings, and it was Mauricio Cabrera that got the victory. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts of Votto and Bruce by Lucas Harrell. And now he's an out away from getting out of a big first inning mess.
Good call by A.J. Przinsky. Good execution right there by Lucas. Just dropped it right under the bat. But he threw it for a strike. He wasn't trying to trick him and risk walking him. He made sure he threw it for a strike, too.
That'll bring up Eugenio Suarez, the Reds' third baseman. Celebrated his 25th birthday a couple of days ago. Hit a home run on his birthday, as a matter of fact. And he's riding a 3-game hit streak. Ground ball to third. Adonis has it. His flip to second in time. And boy, what a job by Lucas Harrell. 2 on, nobody out. Votto, Bruce, and Suarez coming up, and the Reds' big three can't get the ball out of the infield. Get a limited edition Chipper Jones jersey shirt. Well, that's tough to say on a quick turnaround while supplies last. Get to braves.com/chipper and secure your tickets and your jersey shirt today.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of jersey shirt old Chipper will wear with the Kansas Stars when they play in the National Baseball Congress tournament.
That is still one of the great stories of the summer. All those Braves old-timers are going to get together in Kansas and
boy, just baseball all-stars. It's not just Braves.
Well, it's a Braves heavy, former Braves heavy representation. As the first pitch by Inciarte is whacked into right field, and Bruce gallops over and makes the play for the first out.
With the trading deadline looming, there might be some teams wanting to see if they can make a deal with the Kansas Stars.
Yeah. If you didn't hear the story, Adam LaRoche called some of his buddies and said, hey, y'all want to play in this tournament? And Adam said his phone blew up with interest. And we're talking Roger Clemens, Tim Hudson, Dan Ugla, Ryan Langerhans, Josh Beckett,
Roy Oswalt. So they're going to play in the National Amateur Tournament.
And you've played there before.
I did. My recollection is that it was 90% collegiate players, a lot of college all-stars, but also it could be released professional players, guys who weren't currently under contract. So they all qualify there.
Now, do they have standard uniforms, or do they have sponsors on them? Do you for that? Or is it...
Yeah, we did. I played at Liberal, Kansas. We had team uniforms, of course. Now the Stars, I don't know.
Lined into right field by A.J. Przinsky. Good swing. Point being, if they have sponsorship on the uniforms, can you imagine the possibilities? You could have Aspercream, Geritol, Advil. Depends. Who knows?
Yes.
You know? So, yeah. I mean, the possibilities for the Kansas Stars are certainly endless. But that is going to be great. And again, you've played in that tournament. That is a very, very popular summer attraction, isn't it? As Hamilton in center is on his horse and tracks it down for out number 2.
Nice play. Solid contact. Ibar showing some signs of coming around again. Yeah, it used to be the summer tournament. It was, as I said last night, the two teams in Alaska, Boulder, Colorado, Liberal, Kansas, Dodge City, and teams from other points all over the place. And then the Cape Cod League came into vogue, and wood bats prevailed there, and they started drawing a lot of the college stars to that league. But it's still a huge event, played in one ballpark, but I'm assuming still a double elimination tournament. It also was the first place I ever played that had a pitch clock, 20-second clock between pitches.
And it's morning, noon, and night for that tournament, right?
When you get in the loser's bracket, you're in deep, dark trouble.
Back to the mound. DeSclafani makes the play. And that will retire Atlanta in the second. No runs, a hit by A.J. Przinsky. 1-0. Braves lead it.
Sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Freddie Freeman's first inning homer, the difference so far in Cincinnati. We head to the second inning. Phillips, Peraza, and Tucker Barnhart are coming up. What a job by Lucas Harrell. Walked the leadoff man, gave up an opposite field hit to Billy Hamilton, then struck out Votto, struck out Bruce, and got Eugenio Suarez to ground out in the bottom half of the opening inning to preserve the 1-0 advantage.
That was great work. And the two breaking balls he threw, Votto and Bruce, were big keys in 3-2 counts.
So Brandon Phillips will lead off. He's 2 for 8 in the series. Last night he picked up his 1,700th hit as a Cincinnati Red. And he is their hottest hitter at the moment with an 8-game hitting streak. And when we talk about players playing hurt, Exhibit A might be Brandon Phillips. He's had calf problems in the past week, and he's playing with a fractured left hand when he was hit by a Jose Fernandez pitch. And he chops this one to short. And Ibar takes his time and throws a strike to first, 1 down.
Braves are well aware of Phillips' problems with his right calf muscle that he strained last Friday. So wise of Ibar to get his feet under him and not rush it.
There's some who wonder if Brandon Phillips might be traded at the deadline. He's a 10-5 player and has the right to reject any potential deal. And as he's done that before, in some ways has blocked Jose Peraza, who some feel is his heir apparent at second base. But because Phillips is still here and still productive, Peraza's turned into a super utility type player. And the former Brave #1 prospect is now playing left field for Cincinnati. This is his 6th start in left, and these are the first starts in left field as a professional.
Yeah, period. He had not played out there before.
And he smokes one into left field. Peraza has the second Cincinnati hit. And here's the catcher, Tucker Barnhart.
He went to L.A., Peraza did, in the deal that brought Hector Oliveri to Atlanta.
And Hector, by the way, has been moved up to Gwinnett, where he'll start playing AAA. He is still in the midst of his suspension rehabilitation process. There have been no guarantees that he will be brought back up to the big league club this year. And he would not be active to join the major leagues until first or second day of August, I believe, as he serves the rest of his suspension.
I was just looking prior to his suspension. He had 19 at bats for the big league club, 4 for 19 with a double.
This is Tucker Barnhart. Let's have 2 good-looking catchers. Barnhart and Ramon Cabrera, both of them switch hitters, and they're getting a lot of playing time because Devin Mesoraco had surgery on Monday to repair his right hip labrum.
Peraza 10 out of 11 in stolen bases. Got to keep an eye on him.
Fouled away by Barnhart. 2 balls and a strike. Barnhart's on a nice offensive run as well. He's got 19 hits in his last 50 at bats. And time had been called before that pickoff play at first. Hit to right, and Markakis is going to get there. Nick makes the catch. Barnhart flies out, and DeSclafani is coming up with Peraza still at first and 2 men down.
DeSclafani's got a couple of hits since he started back in the rotation. 2 for 12 with an RBI.
Well, they're happy he's back, looking good. 4-0 record to start the season. And there's nothing worse for a team when one of your guys you're counting on gets hurt in that last week. It really messes up just about everything you're trying to accomplish. And he injured an oblique in his last spring's training start, and just came off the disabled list June 10th.
Especially a guy that threw 184 innings last year. Went 9-13 for the Reds, but they needed him to be an inning eater too.
Homer Bailey's coming back from Tommy John. Michael Lorenzen had right elbow problems. He came back in late June. Raisel Iglesias has had shoulder problems. Caleb Gotham's been hurt with a shoulder. Jordan Pacheco, right shoulder. I mean, you go up and down this entire Reds pitching staff. Somebody's either been hurt or has been hammered and been sent up and down between Cincinnati and Louisville.
Yeah, his 184 innings last year were the most by any rookie in the National League.
Bouncing ball out to second, and an easy play for Jace. He'll win the race to the bag to force Peraza, and that will retire the side. Top of the order coming up for Atlanta. Jace Peterson gets it started. Freddie Freeman's the homer, the early difference. All year long, we'll celebrate the top moments in the history of Turner Field. Today, it's a top moment from this season. Freddie Freeman's first career cycle came June 15th against the Reds. Here's to 20 years, brought to you by Synovus, the bank of here. And that was the middle of a torrid stretch for Freddie Freeman.
Tearing it up, keeping the Reds alive, and that home run, an opposite field homer, just like the one today.
So far so good. Atlanta has scored first. Lucas Harrell has pitched 2 scoreless innings. And Peterson, d'Arnaud, and Freeman are coming up again. And that's taken low, ball 1. A lot of day baseball today. There's getaway days all around the National and American Leagues. Padres are in St. Louis. Mets and Cubs wrap up their series at Wrigley. Rays and Rockies in Denver. Blue Jays and Diamondbacks out in Phoenix. Two balls, 2 strikes. And that's ripped over Brandon Phillips' glove, who tried to time his leap perfectly. Jace had just enough on it to get it into right field, and it's a leadoff hit here in the 3rd.
That was a good turn on that. They wanted it inside. They were trying to jam him. It was up a little bit though, and didn't quite get it in as far as they wanted, and maybe without that sore calf muscle, Brandon gets up there to get that one.
Do you think Jace has covered up that hole that we've seen bother him?
In many respects, yes. They're not pitching him in there quite as much, and that might be a telltale sign there that he's handling it. You know, his first time up today, a grounder to first was on a pitch in that he just rolled over the top of, but he was behind in the count on that situation. Game of constant adjustments. Jace has come back playing great baseball.
Hitting .310 since coming up from Gwinnett, where he hit a .186. And he didn't go down there and hit .330 and get called back up. It looks like a different offensive player right now for Atlanta. And he's aboard to start the 3rd. No balls and a strike for Chase d'Arnaud.
Yeah, it's weird how things work out. Had Ibar not gotten injured, he might still be down there.
Even count.
I like what Brian Snitker's done with the lineup today. It would be easy to move Inciarte into the 2 spot, left-handed hitter against DeSclafani, but Chase has done such a good job of hitting behind the runner. In other words, hitting to the right side when the leadoff man's been aboard. It was a good call here.
A little late there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Braves are 24-33 since Brian Snitker took over for Freddie Gonzalez in the manager's office. Two balls, two strikes. Braves at 33-61 for the year, are trying for their 20th road victory and their second road series win in a row.
Now, as difficult as this season has been for the Braves, they're only 2 games worse than the Reds, who have a real solid veteran presence in their lineup with Votto, Bruce, Phillips, and Cozart.
Ground ball towards second, might be 2. Nice flip. Cozart the turn, and he got Darno by a half step. Well, you've got a Gold Glover at second base, and you've got Zach Cozart, who might be one of the more underrated shortstops in the league. That was baseball ballet up the middle. 2 down.
You know you're going to get a good feed from Brandon. Gold Glove winner got it to him quickly so that Cozart could find the bag and get rid of it.
So Freddie's 1/4 of the way to the cycle.
Yes, he is.
Which came in the game. DeSclafani pitched down in Atlanta. A 2-out homer in the first inning for Freddie. And that's bounced out of play. Every hitter will tell you, if you look at the schedule and where's a good place to hit. Well, for the Braves, this is an excellent road trip in which to hit. 3 here, 4 in Denver, and then Minneapolis and Target Field. It's a big ballpark, but we've heard the ball's been flying in Minneapolis this year.
No question, Chip. This is a great road trip to start making yourself feel good about your swing. Maybe pop a few out of the ballpark without even trying.
He wanted to swing, but wisely held up. 3 balls and a strike. Markakis has a double. He's waiting next. But first, a 3-2 pitch. And Freddie didn't get it. DeSclafani came back from a 3-1 count to strike out Freddie Freeman. Braves are done in the third. 1-0.
Unique feature about Great American Ballpark is this big gap in the stadium that's just off to our left from the press box and basically right up above the visitors on deck circle. No, they didn't run out of material. I was just informed, because I've always been curious why they left that open. That was an original design, stadium design.
Line to short. Cozart almost knocked Ibar down.
An original design that they thought would help create a wind tunnel that would help Ken Griffey Jr. hit balls out of the ballpark to right field and right center.
Interesting. The Griffey Gap.
There you go. You're always quick on that stuff.
You know, I've always said if Ken Griffey Jr. had moved to a corner outfield spot here in Cincinnati, he might have set home run records that we'd be talking about instead of Barry Bonds. And that's meant in no way is a form of disrespect. Jr. played so hard, he kept getting hurt. As Hamilton hits it in the air to left, always like to see him do that. And Chase camps out, makes the play, 2 down.
I couldn't agree more. He had a pretty good place to start his career in the Kingdome as his home ballpark, but this one gives up homers by the handsful. And it's just a shame he wasn't able to stay on the field more than he was here.
But even with those injury problems here in Cincinnati, where he came home, Jim Bowden was the general manager at the time. That was a huge coup for Cincinnati to get a player of Ken Griffey Jr.'s stature to come back and play here. He said, we're going to have downtown parades with Ken Griffey Jr. at the helm of this offense. Obviously, it didn't work out, but still, Ken Griffey Jr. is going to the Hall of Fame this weekend.
Well, I mean, what limited time he played here, he's, I don't know, 6th or 7th all time in Reds homers.
And I asked him one time, he thought about moving to a corner. He said, no, I have to play the game. I'm a center fielder, and if I get hurt, I get hurt. And he left this game with no regrets. Joey Votto had a key at bat. He struck out with 2 on and nobody out in the first. And that ended that impressive on-base run that he had going in this series.
Yeah, 8 straight plate appearances. They're doing a good job here of keeping the ball in on him, and then struck him out in the first inning on a breaking ball. Chokes up on the bat a little bit like Freddie Freeman.
Good try in the corner, but Votto took it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Came across a stat before the game today. Did you know that Joey Votto now has a higher average on base percentage, more extra base hits, more hits, doubles, and runs this year than Bryce Harper?
I did not.
I didn't either. And he's on some kind of run since the All-Star break.
AJ said, no, I want you to shake your head no like you're shaking a sign off, not nod yes. That was funny.
3-2.
Catchers, when they're giving that nod back and forth for a no, they're trying to put a little doubt in the hitter's mind about shaking off pitches.
Did he go? Nope. I wonder how many times Joey Votto's been rung up on a check swing. His great knowledge of the strike zone. Another walk for Votto in this series. And he's aboard with 2 out. 2 walks for Lucas Harrell. Here's Bruce.
I have great respect for Joey Votto's ability, and I understand that it's just a 1-0 lead. But when you get 2 quick outs like Harrell got, man, you had an opportunity to have a real fast inning by being aggressive on Votto, who at worst can make it 1-1. Instead of pitching in and out and up and down and around and wind up walking him, where now a mistake and you're trailing 2-1.
Well, sometimes, Joe, that nod yes, shake no thing can really mess up a pitcher's mojo on the mound.
Yeah.
As Bruce awaits a 1-1 pitch. Jay Bruce is the second Reds player to produce at least 18 homers in each of his first 9 years. And here are the Reds' all-time home run leaders.
Yeah, Griffey a little lower than I thought at 8. Votto will pass him too.
AJ blocked it. Votto has to hold. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
How do you think Johnny Bench would have liked to play?
Oh, well, Riverfront wasn't.
No, I know. Good
too
hitter's park.
shabby.
I know.
However,
Good grief.
yeah, could you imagine the Big Red Machine in this place?
Scary.
Popped him up. Bruce was off stride. Darno's going to catch it, and Lucas Harrell works around the 2-out walk. He has a 1-0 shutout. We get set for the 4th inning. Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr., two Cincinnati icons.
Nothing, top of the 4th. And how about Ken Griffey Jr.? Not only is he going into the Hall of Fame, but he's going in with a 99.3 percentage of the vote. That's the highest ever, topping Tom Terrific Seaver. What an amazing player, 22-year career. Not too shabby numbers just here in Cincinnati, but when you put them all together, 630 home runs. What do I love about Ken Griffey Jr.? The way he played. He left it all on the line, diving into walls. And as a pitcher, I really appreciated that. And when you wanted to talk about him, he wanted to talk about his dad. And I watched from 15 feet away in the All-Star game, I watched a drug-free Ken Griffey Jr. beat out everybody else. Maybe he didn't hit him the furthest, but he certainly was the best at hitting him over the wall. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Paul. Nick Markakis ground ball to second. Brandon Phillips will throw him out. You saw Ken Griffey Jr. get started out in Seattle.
Yeah, 19 years old. First hit, I think it was his first hit, was a double to left center in Oakland off Dave Stewart. And then he went home and hit a home run. I think his first at bat in the Kingdome, which, you know, set that place on fire. Great player. I asked him one time, I said, who helped you with your swing, your stance? And who was the biggest influence? He said, I got it from television. He said, I watch games on TV. I said, who was it? He said, I don't know. I just saw it and I liked it and copied it.
Worked out okay, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Well, there will be
I wanted to ask him if it was me.
Well, it probably was.
But I have a feeling it wasn't.
Well, can you imagine the pride and happiness and the tears that'll be flowing for the Griffey family as Kozar leaps and takes away a hit try from Garcia. I mean, we know all about the great defense. We know all about the offensive prowess of Ken Griffey Jr. He really helped save baseball in Seattle. But to play with your dad and hit a home run back-to-back with your dad in a big league game.
That'll never happen again.
I mean, and I think he's going in with a Mariners cap.
I hope so. With all due respect to the Reds, I hope so.
Well, if he doesn't, rather than put the MLB logo on the cap, I would love to see him go in with the cap backwards, because that was,
yeah.
If ever there was a trademark for Ken Griffey Jr., that was it. As far as the style of his uniform, something that drove a lot of the old timers crazy. Wear your cap the right way, kid. Well,
Sparky Anderson got his attention one day in the Kingdome. Dugouts were very close to the baselines. Not a good two-out story.
that ball's going to get down. And Ender Inciarte has a two-out hit.
Sparky was the manager of the Detroit Tigers, and they walked Ken Jr. intentionally. And Jr. kind of glared as he laid his bat down and trotted to first, kind of glared in the Tigers dugout. The next day, paraphrasing, Sparky called him over and he said, out of respect for your father, who played the game the right way and played for me in Cincinnati, you're going to get a pass this time, but don't you ever do that again.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I think it stuck.
A.J. Przinsky, the batter. A.J. has 9 hits in his last 9 games played. And for those fans in the Southeast who didn't really see Ken Griffey Jr. play a lot, is Andrew Jones an apt comparison?
I've had the great privilege of watching both those guys play, start their careers, end their careers.
Runner goes. A.J. fouls it at the plate.
Ken Griffey Jr. was the best center fielder I'd ever seen, and I never thought I'd see anybody that equaled him until I saw Andrew. And Andrew was every bit as good. Junior's arm may have been a little more accurate. I don't know that it was any stronger than Andrew's, but it was more accurate. But to have to try to pick between the two would be awfully tough.
1 ball, 1 strike for Braves catcher A.J. Pierzynski. Didn't get the breaking ball. 1-2 your count. Braves lead 1-0 on a Freddie Freeman first inning home run. Did A.J. go? Nope. It's in the dirt.
Maybe I could get away with saying Ken Griffey Jr. is the best left-handed center fielder I ever saw, and Andrew's the best right-handed center fielder I ever saw.
Well, there's an election coming up in November. Way to walk right down the middle, buddy. But yeah, that's
glad it's not a barbed wire fence.
Yeah, that's a real good call. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a ground ball to Phillips. He'll go to a knee, and that'll take care of the Braves catcher. Both hurlers settling in. DeSclafani's through 4 innings. He's given up the game's lone run. Cincinnati nothing. Suarez, Phillips, and Peraza are coming up. Let's take a peek at our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard today.
Most assists by an outfielder since 2005. Jeff Francoeur with a pretty good advantage over Nick Markakis, but they are 1 and 2. Alfonso Soriano no longer playing in the big leagues. The other 2 fellows are. That represents since Jeff Francoeur got to the big leagues. Ender Inciarte closing fast.
You bet. He's got 11 assists. Lucas Harrell has handcuffed the Reds on 2 hits. He's walked 2 men. He's had a lot of deep counts, though. Let's see if he can make it easy on himself with Suarez leading off for Cincinnati. He won't. He got fastball in, and it hit him.
Suarez almost got hit by Cabrera last night, a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. Able to avoid that, but not this one. Ooh. Ribs. Oh, that'll leave a mark. The ground ball. You got a double play candidate here who's not running well. You would think, Chip, with the hairline fracture in his left hand, that all that bat waggle would really be painful. Oh. I mean, his is really exaggerated.
Bottom hand. I mean, that's the strong grip hand on the bat, right? The right-hand hitter. Bouncing ball to third. Might be 2. There's 1. There is 2. Harrell gets a double play. That helps. 2 outs. You got to respect the fact that Brandon Phillips is trying to play through it. Not only the fractured hand, but a calf problem.
I've always liked watching him play. It's rare that you see him without a smile on his face, but he's been playing in pain.
Here's Peraza, starting for the 18th time for the Reds this year. He singled back in the Cincinnati second. And this game starting out like last night's game began, with Cody Reed for the Reds and Terrell Jenkins. A lot of deep counts in the early innings, and then after the second started to settle in and got ahead of hitters and got some easy frames recorded.
I've liked everything about Tyrell Jenkins. Talked last night. Paul and I both talked about his poise and his maturity and how he doesn't show any signs of any panic on the mound. Last night was another case in point. And then his comments after the game too. Very mature comments, very professional. Talked about his preparation for last night's game, watching a lot of video. Already had a game plan ready when the game started, what he and Anthony Recker that they were trying to employ, and finally got to it as he started throwing more strikes. I'm already looking forward to his next start, which will be Sunday in Colorado.
That'll wrap up the series with the Rockies. Tyler Chatwood will be his opponent. And Adonis with a long toss across to first in time. Retires Peraza. We are through 4 innings. Hot day in Cincinnati. Little ice cream will keep the fans cool. It's 1-0 Atlanta in front.
Presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Beautiful day on the banks of the Ohio River here in Cincinnati. And we look across the beautiful border between Kentucky and Ohio. That's Covington and Newport, Kentucky. Just beyond the right field fence. That is a beautiful area with some fantastic antebellum homes right on the riverfront. And a gorgeous view of the Cincinnati skyline from the banks of northern Kentucky. Line drive by Ibar, headed for the gap in left center. Hamilton slides, cuts it off. Eric's on his way to second, and he's going to make it without a throw. So an excellent start for the Braves. 5th. Eric Ibar has his 11th double, and Harrell will try to butt him to third.
Well, again, I say it looks like he's bouncing back after that 2 for 30 stretch. 2 singles and a walk last night, scored a run, drove in a run, hit the ball hard his first time up today, drove Hamilton back, and this time splits the gap.
Yeah, he was in a 2 for 30 stretch before the game last night. And Lucas digs in. He tapped back to the mound to end the Braves' second. First run of the game is a huge run for the Braves. They're 19-18 when they score first. Well, this is a team that's 28 games under 500. And that is a foul ball. Oh, Tucker Barnhart popped out, thought it bounced right on top of the plate.
Good hustle by Angel Hernandez too, to get out from behind home plate and see where the baseball was. Angel in his 23rd year umpiring in the big leagues. Watch him quickly get out around from behind Barnhart.
Lucas might have caught a break there. Popped and caught at third. So Suarez in playing the bunt, caught that on the fly. For at bat by Harrell. Ibar still at second, top of the order now with 1 out.
Talk about it all the time. You cannot get a bunt down when your bat is pointed back toward the on-deck circle. Even if you're going to push it to third, got to have the bat out front.
.70 pitches for DeSclafani. He's got 1 out in the 5th. He has yet to pitch a perfect inning today. He did face 3 hitters in the 3rd. A double play ball bailed him out. And a strike for Peterson. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Reds are off tomorrow. They will host the Arizona Diamondbacks. Then Cincinnati has a West Coast trip coming up. They'll go to San Francisco and San Diego. They'll have an off day in San Diego out west. That's tough duty.
Well, how many days off do they get? What's this all about?
They've got one tomorrow. They've got one on July 28th, and they've got one when they come back on August 1st.
Who do they know at the schedule maker? They don't play on any Thursday in the month of July.
That's called the Brenneman rule, I guess.
Must be.
This, by the way, is a major league record being set today. First, the 2-2 pitch. It's the quietest this press box has been in Cincinnati Reds history.
Marty and Tom, that's Chip, because I know what's coming.
Neither one of the Brennemans are working this series. Tommy's coming back from vocal cord surgery. We understand that that's gone very well. We're excited about that. I think Tommy's going to work on the upcoming road trip for the Reds. Ibar's going to try to take third. He will on a ground ball to short. And the throw to first was high and nearly too late. Ibar at third base now with 2 outs.
I tell you what, Eric almost drew a bad throw just by rounding third and making it appear that he might go home. It caused Cozart to take a quick look at him and then rush his throw. Going on the pitch. And right there he bluffed, and he was getting Cozart's attention. Good try.
So let's see if d'Arnaud can come up with a 2-out hit. Braves by a run of Freeman first inning homer.
Chase hitting .250 with runner in scoring position and 2 out.
Little pop, shallow center. It's going to drop for a hit. Ibar scores. It's 2-0. He couldn't have thrown it out there any better than that.
Yeah, he just added to that. You're never sure, from our vantage point, is the way Hamilton can run. You're never sure if he's running under one and can get to something or not. But he couldn't get to this Ric Flair. And the Braves are up 2-0.
12 RBIs for d'Arnaud, and that brings up Freeman. A little more breathing room for Lucas Harrell, who will have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up at the bottom of the inning. A homer and a strikeout for Freeman. Freddie now with 17 homers, 35 RBIs, and 107 strikeouts this year.
You know, I don't know. Sorry, Chip. I don't know what the thought was when the Braves signed Chase d'Arnaud to a contract over the wintertime. If it was just to be kind of insurance in AAA, knowing he could play different positions, whatever the reason was, it was a good sign, because since he's been here, he has done a lot of good things. He's fun to watch. He hustles, he runs well, can play just about anywhere on the field, great attitude, and he's come up with some big hits. He's been a nice addition.
And when you have a team party, you don't need to hire out a singer.
No.
You've got your
Got it covered.
Built-in band. He's running. Freddie swings and misses, and DeSclafani is out of the 5th inning. But d'Arnaud with a big 2-out hit to center brings home Eric Ibar. The lead now 2 for the Braves. Year for the Minnesota Twins, who had a very surprising season last year, and the Twins, unfortunately, Joe, made news earlier this week. They fired their longtime general manager Terry Ryan a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it was horribly disappointing. It really was. I mean, as great as he's been for the Twins.
That's hammered deep toward the bullpen in left center field. Ender and Ciarte up against the wall, hauled it in. Tucker Barnhart just missed, hitting his 4th home run.
He's a dandy, isn't he? Ender can go get him. Shading him a little bit toward left. Right out to that deepest part of left center. Good play.
Yeah, the Twins have a 34-59 record. Only the Braves have fewer wins than Minnesota this year, but they're playing a real young team. They have not been able to develop much pitching there. And maybe that falls at the feet of the general manager. I don't know, but people that are there say they really miss Torrey Hunter in that locker room.
I'm sure they did, and who wouldn't?
That's poked into center by DeSclafani. He's got a 1-out hit.
But Terry Ryan came back as a favor. He had retired as the GM after all the success he had helped the Twins enjoy. They fell on some hard times. They asked him to come back, and he did, more or less as a favor, and then to basically tell him that they're going to make a change. And he said, "Oh, if you're going to make a change at the end of the year, I'll see you later."
Yeah.
I just thought it was horrible.
And he had an opportunity to go elsewhere, stayed in Minnesota. And something else that Mr. Ryan had to deal with. Remember, a few short years ago, there was an ugly word being bandied around Major League Baseball, and that word was contraction. And rumor had it that the Minnesota Twins franchise was one of those teams that was on the list to eliminate 2 major league clubs.
Yes.
Well, he helped the Twins get through that. They got their new ballpark. And then after last year, that remarkable run with Paul Molitor at the helm, halfway through this season with no Torrey Hunter, disappointing pitching, young players being force-fed at the major leagues, at least from the outside looking in, it's the general manager's fault.
A.J. Przinsky was talking to me about that last night, and he had nothing but praise to heap on Terry Ryan. A.J. spent some time in the Twins organization, but we both agree we never ever heard anybody say one bad word about the guy. Class act.
So everybody in baseball wishes him well. As the 3-0 pitch is in for Cozart, who's walked and lined out to short. So DeSclafani with a hit. That's a little tough to take, because now you're back at the top of the order and Votto and company lurking, and now you've got 2 on for Hamilton and only 1 out. And nothing has come easy for Lucas Harrell today.
That's his 3rd walk. He only walked 3 total in his first 2 starts. He also walked 3 in his most recent start, which was a very short one against Colorado. Really need an out right here from a tough guy to retire because of his speed.
Billy Hamilton is 1 for 2. So his hitting streak will move to 4 games when they face the Diamondbacks next. That startles the Dove sitting on top of the protective screen. No balls and a strike.
Nice catch. Barehanded grab by a fan.
They're not lonesome. No balls, 2 strikes for Hamilton. Little pop into shallow center that Ender Inciarte will grab. That is a big second out, but still you've got big trouble with Joey Votto coming up. Again, it's worth repeating, Votto 6 for 13 head-to-head against Harrell in his career coming into play today. Votto has struck out and has walked.
and forced deep counts on both occasions.
Atlanta 2, Cincinnati nothing. Go ahead run represented by Joey Votto here in the 5th. AJ got just enough to track it down and hold the runners. We haven't really talked about it much today, but what a job Anthony Recker did behind the plate last night.
I made a point to find him today and shake his hand on a great effort. He was really helpful for Tyrell Jenkins last night on anything in the dirt, but also helping him get through the early innings. Excellent job.
1-0 count. Recker on the roster because Tyler Flowers is out with a broken hand. Tyler's watching the game back in Atlanta. Miss him. Hope he's doing well. I'm sure he is bummed out, not able to catch on a 102 field temperature day today in Cincinnati.
He's bummed out that he's not going to be able to hit here or in Colorado.
Well, that's true too.
He's bummed about.
That's true too. Tyler, get well soon. Nice block by AJ Przinsky.
And 3-0. Votto's a guy who likes to walk. He's not shy about taking a walk. He gets 1 million of them a year. But on this occasion, 3-0, you can't assume he's going to be taking here with tying runs aboard.
He was swinging 3-0 and he skies it to left. Thank you very much. Votto not happy. He doesn't walk. He flies out the other way, and Harrell lives to tell the tale. We go to the 6th, 2-0 Atlanta. 29th through the 31st when the Braves take on the Phillies. There'll be tons of opportunities to see your favorite Braves legends. Go to Braves.com/alumni weekend for a full schedule of the weekend's events. And if you come to Turner Field that alumni weekend, if you smell menthol, it's because most of those guys are playing in the WBC World Series with the Kansas Stars.
NBC.
Excuse me, NBC.
Yeah.
Did I say WBC? Yeah.
That'll be next spring. World Baseball Classic. Back after a hiatus of about 4 years.
Nick Markakis will lead off inning number 6. He's doubled and grounded out tonight. Or today, I should say. Cincinnati 3 hits. That's it.
We showed you those numbers earlier about Nick's good work in day games. So I guess at some point we'll have to show Nick at night.
I like it.
That's about all I came to the game with today.
I think about the old audio clip of my grandfather trying to read the lineups and he starts coughing. A little early in the day for me. I know what he means. Fly ball center, and Billy Hamilton is there as a gentle breeze just started to blow.
Yeah, one of the things about this ballpark that's so good for a guy like Billy Hamilton, we've talked about the friendly confines, how it's only 370 to the right center field gap, 379 to the left center field gap with a higher wall. But he doesn't have far to go to the wall in right field. I mean, that's just an easy hop for him. The hardest part, the most difficult part, is right behind him.
Goes hard at short.
404. I mean, that's pretty obvious for any center fielder. But from that 404 mark over to the left of our camera here, where Ender caught that ball in deep left center, that's about the toughest part for him to cover. And with his speed, he does it easily. But anything to his left toward right center, if it doesn't go out of the ballpark, he's going to be on it.
Makes you appreciate what Ender Inciarte does even more, doesn't it? Playing at home in Atlanta. 390 feet to the right center field gap where the bullpen is. So after 2 quick outs, Inciarte's up there with a single last time up. He has hits in 8 of his last 9 now. His average climbing slowly toward 240. He's at 238 now. Single runs for the Braves in the first on a Freeman homer. A single run last inning, a 2-out bloop hit by Chase Darno that brought home Eric Ibar. That's it. Popped up. Tucker Barnhart near the screen is gonna step up on top of the fence and make the play. Nice play by Tucker Barnhart. Spring in his mask, spring in his step. Look at this fine play. That robs Inciarte. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Couple of runs, a Freeman homer, a Darno base hit. Lucas Harrell's pitching very well. Hasn't been easy for him, Paul Bird, but he's been very effective through his first 5.
Now you hit the nail on the head, Chip. 79 pitches, 46 strikes. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have to see a pitcher survive up here in the big leagues when he's not sharp, doesn't have his best stuff. I have to see him struggle through it. Lucas Harrell, 3 walks, only 2 strikeouts, struggling each inning, it seems at times, to make his pitches. And yet we look up here in the 6th, and he's doing a very good job with a 2-0 lead here. So very important outing for me for Lucas. No guarantees, but so far I really, really like what I see.
And how about him getting that out to end the last inning on a 3-0 count from Joey Votto? That was big too.
It was beautiful, and he threw a 2-0 breaking ball, which tells me he's learning, he gets it. He didn't have to throw a strike there. He knew Votto was going to be aggressive, used that against him, and you saw the frustration from Votto running down the line. So making those crucial pitches when he has to, guys.
A little warm down there, buddy.
I don't know how long I rambled, how long I talked. I'm a little delirious. Guys, the hottest day of the year, and I don't have the forehead that can handle sun, so I may need medical attention soon.
Paul Heatstroke Bird with us tonight in Cincinnati. Hang in there, buddy.
You got it.
Here's Eugenio Suarez. He's bounced out to third, and he's been hit by a pitch. He was later erased on a double play from Brandon Phillips. And Lucas paints a corner. It's quickly 0-2. Reds have just 4 hits. All of them singles. Broken bat. Popped behind second. Markakis is not going to get there. A bloop hit for Cincinnati. So first and second again for the Reds. Nobody out. That also happened in the first.
Little payback for Suarez after getting hit in the ribs. A broken bat. Dunker out there into shallow right.
Brandon Phillips has hit the ball on the ground twice. A third time would be just fine right here. 2-0 Atlanta. That lead in jeopardy in the 6th. As Harrell begins his 3rd time through the lineup. Driven to right. Pretty deep, but playable. Tagging at second is Bruce. Runner at first is headed for second too. The throw off target, and Bruce and Suarez both move up on a productive out from Brandon Phillips.
Pretty gutsy on the part of Suarez to go to second, but a good read on his part, and Freddie Benavides, the first base coach, because Nick was going away from second base, had to plant, couldn't get everything on his throw that he would like, couldn't get any momentum going. So a good read by Suarez.
Jose Peraza becomes the key man in the inning. Second and third with 1 out now. Reds are 0 for 6 with a runner in scoring position. They've stranded 6 men so far. Right back up the middle, a base hit. Bruce scores. Suarez around third. Ender brings it home. His throw to the plate is not in time. Peraza with a base hit takes second on the throw. And A.J. Pierzynski with a Dikembe Mutombo finger wag to Angel Hernandez. Thinks he might have missed this one. The Braves are going to take a look and review the play at the plate.
Solid shot. Again, Inciarte with 11 assists. Puts the throw on the money. I don't know if Suarez ever got to the plate. He may have been able to get his left hand in there. Can't block the plate without the ball. His hand did cross the point of the plate. Glove was on the body. Got him.
So that's ruled a single for Peraza for the moment. He's got 2 RBIs. And as always on replays like this, the call on the field is the most advantageous position to have because there has to be enough evidence to overturn the call by Angel Hernandez.
When did he tag him? He got him right away. And based on that look right there, I think that's very telltale that when you go to the overhead look, you know that the glove's on him right there and the hand wasn't yet to the plate. If you put those 2 pictures together, they could overturn it.
It's not a question of whether A.J. blocked the plate without the ball. The question is, was the left hand on the plate before the tag was applied to the back of Suarez, who streaked home from second base.
And if they don't overturn it, that hustle by Suarez to go from first to second on the fly ball to right, certainly a big part of this.
So the Braves challenge this call. At the moment, the game's tied 2-2. And you can understand why this one might take a little time. That's another typical bang-bang play at the plate. But there's no perfect camera angle that can show the tag and the hand at the plate.
Yeah, and from Angel Hernandez's standpoint, his vantage point, he couldn't really tell where the tag was applied or when the tag was applied. He could only look at home plate and make his best judgment. But it appeared from that third base angle that the tag, as soon as A.J. caught the ball, the tag was on there immediately.
So Lucas Harrell continues to throw a few warm-up tosses. He hopes to keep some rhythm here. He's got Tucker Barnhart coming up. Question is, will there be 2 runs across? Will there be 2 outs?
There's what I'm talking about, the 2 pictures. Glove on his back, hand not to the plate, and yet they still rule him safe.
So it's a single, 2 RBIs for Jose Peraza. A 3-minute, 10-second review. A.J. Pierzynski, I think, was proven right on videotape, but the Braves don't get the call.
Excellent work by our truck putting those 2 pictures together.
So now Lucas has to bear down and take care of Tucker Barnhart, who's knocked in 22 runs this year. Three Cincy singles in the 6th. And roll foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves bullpen begins to work. As Harrell is about to make his 90th pitch. Swing and a drive. Deep right field. Cincinnati has taken the lead. That's the first homer allowed by Lucas Harrell since putting on a Braves uniform, and it's a blast by Barnhart. The Reds have a 4-run inning.
Anything hit in the air toward right field in this ballpark with any elevation, it's just a given that it's gone. I think Markakis knew that too.
It's not as bad as Yankee Stadium in New York, but it's doggone close. That one measured at 403 feet.
It's funny though, Chip, that we had the most home runs by ballpark. Yankee Stadium wasn't on there. I know they hit a lot of them out to the short porch.
We're going to have a bit of a delay here after the Reds set off the fireworks on the Barnhart home run. The smoke has settled right behind the second base bag.
Gap will start working.
Anthony DeSclafani trailed 2-0. He now leads 4-2 and has a hit as well, but not this time. He's down swinging. That is the third strikeout for Lucas Harrell, his first since the first inning. Pitcher's spot is due third in the Atlanta seventh, so one would think this will be the last frame for the Braves right-hander. We'll see about that. Cozart, 2 walks and a lineout today. Another shot to right. Markakis is tracking that one. He's got it. And that'll retire the side. Jose Peraza with a big hit tied it up. Barnhart with a bigger blast. A 2-run homer puts the Reds in front. MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Tucker Barnhart with the big blow for the Reds. He's wearing one of those Tyler Flowers helmets, or masks I should say.
Smart man.
The Force 3 mask. It is spring loaded for the catcher's protection. And his bat was spring loaded in the 6th. So DeSclafani's got the bottom of the order coming up for Atlanta. It starts with A.J. Przinsky, and that's lined out of play. Nice catch.
Another good one. Goes down the third baseline. Pretty good fielding crowd. Shift on for A.J. A little room to the left side, trying to go that way.
But he's going to pop it up to left. Peraza near the line. 1 out. 5 retired by DeSclafani in order after the Darno 2-out hit in 5th. Here's Ibar, who's doubled and scored today. Braves and Rockies in Denver tomorrow night. Mike Foltynewicz and Chad Bettis will be the pitchers. First pitch at 8:40 Eastern Time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to several of those pitching matchups. That's one of them. I want to see Foltynewicz back out there again. And then a rematch Friday night of Tehran and John Gray, who were both terrific in Atlanta.
Phillips at second. Easy pickings. 2 out. And it will be Brandon Snyder. That ends the day for Lucas Harrell. 6 innings of 4-run ball. Gave up 7 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
Brandon Snyder has 6 hits this year, all extra base hits, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 homers. One of the homers was a pinch hit homer. He's got 6 RBIs as a pinch hitter.
Oh, and 2.
When you flip the game like the Reds offense did, you sure want your pitcher to go out there and try to get a quick shutdown inning. So far so good for DeSclafani.
And he'll have Hamilton, Votto, and Bruce coming up to try to extend a 4-2 lead after the 7th inning stretch. Oh, left side of the Reds infield was headed to the dugout. DeSclafani thought he had struck Brandon out.
8 innings, his longest outing this year and of his career. That came June 26th against San Diego.
His next pitch will be number 100. Here's Ian Kroll will be the first man out of the Braves bullpen. Two home runs hit today in Cincinnati, one by Freddie Freeman, one by Tucker Barnhart. Braves led 2-0 until the bottom of the 6th inning. Cincinnati with 4 runs. And a shot to right. Bruce is there. And it's 3 up, 3 down for DeSclafani after his team gave him this 2-run lead. 7th inning stretch at the Great American Ballpark.
Sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The Georgia Lottery. And Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Welcome back. Cincinnati up 4-2, bottom of the 7th. And if you haven't seen it, the Reds Hall of Fame Museum, the largest for any individual team in all of baseball. Talking the Big Red Machine, as you see some jerseys right there. How about a couple World Series trophies in there? And you see Griffey. But what was different about this year, the only member inducted, Pete Rose, the hit king, Charlie Hustle, on June 26th with his big ceremony. Rob Manfred easing up on Rose's sentence, allowing him to be a part of baseball in different ways, and that included his allowance in the Braves Hall of Fame. You see a little Trump and Hillary. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff in that, guys. Chris Eckes really took me around, curator. He did a great job accumulating a lot of stuff. Excellent, excellent time, guys. Back to you.
And that's a big facility too, Paul. I mean, that's not just a couple of corner rooms inside the ballpark, right?
No, we were going all over the place. They had programs from the 1920s, and Cincinnati has such a rich baseball tradition. Sometimes you can forget just how many great players came through here.
Billy Hamilton rips one past Adonis, who was playing in on the grass. And d'Arnaud got to it quickly and held him to a long single. That was great work.
Great play by d'Arnaud again to hold him to a single. Got to play in case he bunts. He rips it past him. Look how quick Chase gets rid of this and puts this throw on the bag. They had him if he had kept going. No, their Hall of Fame is unique too, than that. I may have this a little off, but they make some nominations and put it out to a vote of the fans. So a combination of the club and the fans decide who they want in.
Well, the Reds, the oldest professional Major League Baseball team, started play May 4th, 1869. They had a very close game in the first professional baseball game played. They took on the Great Westerns of Cincinnati and won a very close, nail-biting 45-9 decision.
It was close, I heard, till the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Got out of hand.
Boy, bullpen problems even then, huh? With the Cincinnati club.
Weren't so great that day.
No, they weren't. In 1869, they finished their first regular season. We all talk about the woes of playing baseball late into the calendar month. Final day of the 1869 season was November 6th.
Really?
That year. And the Red Stockings beat the New York Mutuals and finished the season with a 57-0 record. They didn't lose their first game until 1870 when they lost in extra innings to the Brooklyn Atlantics. They won 130 straight games to start their professional baseball franchise.
Hamilton got picked off last night when he was real antsy to try to steal.
Fly ball by Votto. That one's well hit. That one is gone.
Hamilton can have that kind of an effect on you too, where you lose your concentration on your pitches to the plate.
Just about any other park, that's off the wall or it's caught. Joey Votto hit that ball about 372 feet. His 16th home run, and Cincinnati extends the lead.
Center cut fastball, and he didn't miss it. What a series he's had. That was just to the left of the 370 mark.
So it's escalated quickly. 6 straight Cincinnati runs. As Jay Bruce bats, he singled to start the 4-run rally last inning.
First homer allowed by Kroll to a left-handed hitter this year.
They must have very deep rows in the outfield bleachers here. Votto's homer was 387 feet.
Well, then they need to remark that right center field wall.
Yeah. Six runs, 9 hits for the Reds. They've hit 2 homers, 2 runs, 7 hits. No errors for Atlanta. Freeman, the lone man to go deep for the Braves today. His an opposite field shot. Swing and a miss. Bruce is retired. 1 out. Home runs are up in baseball this year. In fact, they're up for a 2nd straight year. They're on pace for about 675 more home runs all across Major League Baseball in 2016 over the 2015 season. In 2015, there were almost 1,400 more home runs hit. For the 2014 year. Folks at Rawlings say nothing has changed with the manufacturing process in Costa Rica. Balls aren't harder. They're not doing anything different. But for some reason, home runs are up. We've seen 3 today.
That story you sent me, I think Matt Wieters of the Orioles had made a comment that he thought maybe they were up because pitchers who are coming to the big leagues and throwing hard don't have real good secondary pitches like you're accustomed to seeing. And
to short. Ibar with a backhand off balance throw and no chance to get Suarez. He's got another hit. He's had a good series at slate.
So when those pitchers that are throwing hard, and we certainly see enough of those guys, they fall behind in the count. They don't have enough secondary pitch stuff to succeed and fall back on their fastball and get whacked.
That's something Brian Price talked about earlier this year. He's the Reds manager and a former pitching coach, with the emphasis on power, pitching, fastball, velocity, the radar guns. Guys are coming up and just rearing back and throwing as hard as they can. But what happens when the count's 2-0 or 3-1 and you have to make a pitch and the hitters are sitting on a fastball and that's all you got?
Well, and you can get away with it in the minor leagues. You know, there just aren't that many guys in a particular lineup, really even in AAA, that you got to be that concerned with. They're not that deep. The lineups aren't that deep. But up here it's different. It's rare that you run into a player, a single player, who can't catch up to fastballs. You got to be able to hit that or you can't play here.
$22,091 the paid attendance in Cincinnati today. They're off tomorrow. Arizona's in to play them on Friday. The Braves will play 4 games in Denver. Suarez is running. The pitch is a ball, no throw from A.J. Pierzynski. So he's got his 7th steal. And now a hit for Phillips could add to the Cincinnati lead. That's driven to right. Slicing away from Nick Markakis and in the stands.
Ian Kroll hasn't pitched that much lately. He pitched in 1 game in the Colorado series, an inning and 2/3, a hit, a walk, and struck out 3. That was on the 15th, so that was 5 days ago, and that's the only outing he's had since July 9th coming into today.
So we talked earlier in the game about starters being rusty. Same applies to relievers too. Kroll's given up 2 runs, 3 hits, including Joey Votto's 2nd home run against the Braves in this series. He had only 3 career home runs coming into play today against Atlanta pitching. Long inning for Ian Kroll. He's about to make his 19th pitch, and runner goes to third. AJ's throw is on the money. So Suarez is 2 for 3 at the plate. He's 1 for 2 on the base pass. He's the 2nd out of the inning.
Good throw by AJ on a tough pitch to catch and throw. And a good call down there by Lance Barksdale. Not sure what Suarez's hurry was, other than getting 1 stolen base. He got carried away.
And he was a much more patient base stealer when he was 24. Yeah. But now turned 25 a couple of days ago. He's got a little 2-2 for Brandon Phillips. Bouncing ball, foul. Out of play. As we approach the trading deadline August 1st, some of the races starting to tighten up in big league baseball. How about the American League West? Just a few weeks ago, the Rangers had a 10-game lead over the Astros. That lead is now 4.5. Texas has lost 13 of their last 17 games. Last night they lost because Albert Pujols hit 2 long home runs for the Angels. And Tim Lincecum picked up his second win.
And then did Pujols get hit in the head with a pitch?
He did. Albert stayed in the game as the Angels try to move out of the basement. They're 12.5 back out west. Texas has pitching problems they've got to figure out. They've got Cole Hamels, they've got Yu Darvish, and it looks like after that, Joe, a whole lot of question marks. Same could be said for the LA Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw had a setback.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
And he's not able to throw the baseball. And it's unknown when he'll be able to come back from a bad back. The Angels 4.5 games behind the Giants and the top wild card team at the moment in National League play.
Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers, excuse me. Giants have come out of the gate slowly. They've lost 4 straight. San Fran was shut out in Boston 4-0. Red Sox will send Drew Pomeranz to the mound. In that game at Fenway Park.
How interesting that Pomeranz makes his first start with the Red Sox against a team from his former division that he's probably seen a couple of times this year.
And a base hit by Brandon Phillips. And Suarez getting thrown out probably cost Phillips an RBI.
Yeah, and what an at-bat by the veteran, too. Was it 12 pitches?
It was. And a 9-game hitting streak for Phillips now. Jose Peraza is up. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run scored for Jose Peraza. The Marlins are looking like a dangerous team. They're only 4.5 behind the Nationals. They won again yesterday. Miami beat the Phillies in 10 innings. Christian Yelich hit a home run and had the game-winning RBI. They're going to get D. Gordon back in about 2 weeks. Fly ball center, that takes care of Cincinnati, but they tack on 2 more on a Joey Votto home run, his 16th of the year. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. As we've mentioned a couple of times, we are headed to the Mile High City after the game today and start a 4-game set with the Rockies at Coors Field, where Walt Weiss's club usually is very dangerous. They have not had a very good year at home, however, as far as the 1-loss record is concerned.
You know what's funny? What strikes me about that is that when we were just playing the Rockies, their pitchers' splits all seem to be better at home than they were on the road.
Well, they could only score 1 run last night. Tampa Bay beat them 10-1. As this one's popped into shallow left, that's going to get down. Jace Peterson has a 2-hit game. That's a promising start for Atlanta as DeSclafani's trying to do something that's only happened twice for Cincinnati all year. That's a starting pitcher completes 8 innings, and he's done it once. He has a 4-run lead, but the leadoff man on for Atlanta here in the 8th.
On a hot, muggy day, he's done a good job of handling innings with runners on base. He had retired 7 in a row right up for that base hit by Jace, but prior to that, he was having to really do some work.
Ross Ohlendorf is loosening up as that one missed outside for an even count. DeSclafani's in line for his 5th win without a loss. But in this park, with this part of the order coming up and a 4-run lead, this is anything but secure.
Right. 9-13 last year as a rookie.
Plenty to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity after the game. Braves and Reds have split the first 6 games of the season series. Reds trying to take 2 out of 3 at home and win the overall season series. This is the final game head-to-head in 2016. Back to the mound. Second base for 1. First base will be way late. Timing was messed up on that play from the mound and at second base. That allowed d'Arnaud to outrun it. He's at first with 1 out.
Yeah, Cozart was covering and DeSclafani couldn't get it out of his glove, so Cozart had to race over there and then slow down.
A home run and 2 swinging strikeouts for Freddie Freeman today. He tipped the first one, strike 1.
First inning, they were trying to really keep the ball in on Freddie. They've done a good job of that since then, but on this pitch, down and out over the plate, and he took it to the opposite field to give the Braves the lead. Just ran one in on his hands again right here that he fouled off, and he's in the hole. And he'll go back in again.
Barnhart smothered that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This may be a great hitter's park, but this has not been a great winning park for the Braves. Atlanta's 21-30 all time here. Out of play. And a swing and a miss. 3rd time today Freddie Freeman has struck out swinging.
Talked about this before, when Freddie gets into these strikeout binges, that he tends to drift and take his hands with him. When he gets his weight out over his front foot and his hands have already committed and gone with that weight shift, there's just not much left in the swing. And I say that knowing he's already hit a home run today, but you see how quickly that weight shift went to his front foot. There's just nothing left to drive the ball.
Freddie Freeman is the only man DeSclafani has struck out in this game. Now with 2 outs, Nick Markakis is the batter. He doubled his first time. And takes a strike. In the air to left, pretty well hit, but it's playable on the warning track. And DeSclafani has, for the 3rd time as a Red starter, helped Cincinnati get 8 innings out of a starting pitcher. He leads at 6-2. It's State Farm instant replay time in Cincinnati, and long balls were costly today.
Now Barnhart hit the first one to give them the lead after they had tied it up on a Peraza single, and then last inning off Ian Kroll, a 2-run homer by Joey Votto.
So Eric O'Flaherty becomes the 3rd Atlanta pitcher of the afternoon. He'll follow Ian Kroll in relief. Good to have Eric back after he missed a long stretch with knee problems.
He was treated rudely here 2 nights ago. An inning, 3 hits, 2 runs.
First pitch swing by Tucker Barnhart. Straightaway center. Inciarte back and gets there. 1 out. And Tyler Holt is going to hit for DeSclafani, who was terrific today. 8 innings, 2 runs. He struck out 3. It was Freddie Freeman and did not walk about it.
Makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yep.
In this ballpark.
This season, Joe, 3 walks now and 28 home innings for Anthony DeSclafani. .76 strikes out of his 114 pitches.
Well, I had that note at the beginning of the game, so add 8 innings to it. 41 2/3 innings for DeSclafani. 3 walks and now 36 strikeouts. That's his most recent work.
No balls, 2 strikes for Tyler Holt. And that's upstairs. When Billy Hamilton was on the DL with concussion problems, Holt got a lot of playing time in center field for the Reds. He started 7 games out there. And he's in a 1-2 count. And the breaking ball continues to plague Mr. Holt. 2 up, 2 down. And today only purchase tickets to any remaining home game this year and get a limited edition Chipper Jones jersey shirt while supplies last. Visit Braves.com/Chipper and secure your t-shirt that looks like his jersey today.
I for one really appreciate how careful you are there.
Thank God we don't have to read that while we're in San Diego. Be a career ender. A base hit to center. Zach Cozart. His first of the day, but he's aboard for a 3rd time because he's walked in 2 other trips. And here's Hamilton. Well, you can see why Votto and Bruce have such good production. Whether it's Cozart or Hamilton at the top of the order hitting second, those 2 guys get on and wreak havoc. Hamilton with his speed is a perfect table setter for Joey Votto. He was feasted in this series. Hamilton 2 more hits, including a run. 7 hits in his last 17 at bats. And he launches the first one to center. And O'Flaherty will be out of the Reds' 8th. No runs, a hit, 1 man left. Last call for Atlanta. They need 4 to tie in Cincinnati. Cincinnati with a 4-run 6th. And while they've hit a couple of home runs today, this we thought was our Toyota key play.
This tied the game up on a close play. Another great throw by Inciarte. Our video replay showed that AJ was able to hit that sweet tag on the back before Suarez's hand got to the plate. And AJ was letting Angel Hernandez know the same, but upon review from New York, they said there wasn't enough there to overturn it. That tied the game, and then a couple of minutes later, Barnhart hit a 2-run homer to put the Reds on top.
Ross Ohlendorf is on with a 4-run lead in the 9th inning. There's really, I think, only one way that you're going to get the most favorable angle on that play at the plate, and that's a camera that's somehow positioned right over the top of the plate. And that doesn't exist here in Cincinnati, nor does it exist in many big league ballparks. It's a incredibly difficult call for an umpire to make. As this one's hit by Garcia to right and pretty deep. Bruce on the run. That ball's going to carry out of here in the 9th inning. And Adonis Garcia with a solo home run brings the Braves to within 3. It's now a 6-3 game.
Well, Adonis Garcia just wanted to leave a little goodbye message to the Reds. It's his 3rd homer off of them this year. First hit today, 2nd homer in this series, and both to the opposite field.
No lead is safe in this place. When you get a high fastball, asking for it to get hit hard. Well, there's one of the 4 the Braves need to get it tied up. Here's Inciarte. And there's 1 for 3. But to finish the point, Angel Hernandez is looking for the hand on the plate, and at that angle he was shielded. Where AJ applied the tag, he had to look right through the base runner's body. That's not possible without X-ray vision, and really not enough evidence to overturn the safe call at the plate.
We had evidence.
Once they took down our booth camera, I'm guessing that New York didn't get that replay angle. Swing and a miss. Inciarte is rung up all the way in the 9th. And so I don't know how you fix that, because every ballpark's different. The architecture's different. The angles are different. I don't know if there's a way to get a perfect over the plate view that would actually help the umpires on those very difficult bang bang plays like we saw today. Frankly, it was made academic when Barnhart hit a home run.
Right.
Full foul. AJ's 1 for 3 today. And Ohlendorf skips one up there.
When we go to Coors Field beginning tomorrow, we'll get our first look at a revamped outfield wall there with some plexiglass, I think, running across the home bullpen. Make it a little harder to hit one in the pin in right center.
Mentioned Colorado's home struggles after losing 10-1 yesterday. The Rockies, who have to be dominant at home, are 2 games under 500 at Coors Field. And Braves have to find some offense. That's really where the season went to die last year for the Braves. They were swept in 4 games, and if memory serves, scored a grand total of 11 runs at Coors Field. Denver has stopped 2 on the road trip. We have a 2-game set with the Twins in Minneapolis. And the Braves are back home at the end of July to start the homestand with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies and Pirates will be the 2 teams in Atlanta. That takes us into the early days of August. And we're on the road again for a long trip. 3 cities.
Good bat here by AJ.
The 1-2. In the dirt, AJ swung over the top. And like Ender Inciarte, he is struck out swinging. When the Phillies are in town, it's alumni weekend. Hope you'll join us. All your favorite Braves will be there signing autographs. We'll have the John Smoltz Celebrity Softball Tournament, we presume. So it should be a lot of fun. Get your tickets now at Braves.com.
Ohlendorf changed his windup there on AJ after all those foul balls. He didn't quick pitch him, but he shortened up his delivery. Threw his timing off.
Popped up. Billy Hamilton in center. He is there. And this one belongs to the Reds. 6-3 is your final score. Cincinnati takes 2 out of 3 at home. Big offensive series for Joey Votto. Tucker Barnhart with a go-ahead 2-run homer. And the Reds played long ball again and take 2 out of 3 from the Braves at the Great American Ballpark. Joe and I will take a break, come back and wrap things up for you right after this.